Kit Kats can read. Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Katie and in today's video I'm bringing you guys a review and book talk on The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. You're probably going to be seeing a lot of these because everybody has been raving about this book like So first half of this review is going to contain the non-spoilers about this book, and then the second half I will go into the spoilers, but I will let you know. So as a very quick disclaimer, this is a book that I purchased myself from the bookstore the day before it actually came out. I was really lucky to get my hands on a copy. They only had one, and I went into there with the intention of seeing if I could find this book, and I actually did, and I'm so happy that I managed to find this book. Like, I have been highly anticipating this book ever since I read the first book, The Cruel Prince, and then The Wicked King. I'm going to place those reviews down below in the description as well for you to check out if you want to watch those first before coming to this. But I read those near enough actually back to back actually. I read the first book, The Cruel Prince, I was obsessed, went straight onto The Wicked King. It wasn't even on my TBR, I needed to read it. And then I was like, oh my goodness, I need The Queen of Nothing now. And now it's here. I read it, I devoured it, I really enjoyed it. It's a shame I was ill because I actually would have been able to read this in one sitting, and I know that there's other people that have read this in one sitting as well. It's one of those books that you can read in one sitting, you can devour. Holly Black is literally the queen of fairy books. She is the fairy queen, literally. So, if you guys don't know what this story is about, we basically have this girl called Jude. She is mortal. She also has a twin sister called Taryn, who's also mortal, and she does have another sister as well, who is actually part fairy. And her parents, we have, like, one of them was fairy, one of them is mortal, which is why she is mortal, and like one of her sisters is fairy, so they do go to the mortal land. They are looked after by this guy, and so because they're mortal they're sort of treated differently in this fairy land. And we have the royal fairy court, and we have the evil Prince Carden who is there, and him and his friends tease and torment Jude, and yeah, pretty much it. So pretty much about her living in the fairy world and dealing with it and dealing with the prince, but there's a lot of scandals, there's a lot of betrayals, there's a lot of like families, and there's a lot of secrets, and there's a lot of things that you find out and all that jazz. It's basically a soap opera in a fairyland. And so in The Wicked King, obviously we continue on with that, and then in The Queen of Nothing we continue on with this. So for me, I found the story in this book was really good. Now, I have my theories in The Wicked King, and you'll see my theories at the end of my Wicked King review of what I thought was going to happen, and I actually kind of like predicted quite correctly. Like, I knew that there would be a way for something to happen, and I was just like, yes. I can't talk about it because it's the non-spoiler section, but I will talk about it in the spoiler section. But basically I was right in the storyline. There were other things in the story that didn't see happening, I must admit. I really didn't see happening. I really enjoyed the 3/4 in of the book as well. Like, it got really interesting with what happened, and then I was really satisfied with the ending. It's a very sort of like, because it concludes the series, I thought it was perfectly done, because it was so bitter sweet. And if you get the Waterstones edition, which is this one, you do get bonus exclusive content, which are some letters at the back of the book. Letters from two characters, or letters from one character to a character basically, which I think is so perfect, because when you finish the book and then you read those letters, you're just like, huh, my heart. Yeah, it's so beautiful. So within this series there is it's kind of like, it's a romance, it's a dark sort of romance, but it's a very mysterious romance. So they care for each other, but they sort of like, in public it's all different. Like in private they care for each other, and then in public there's just like this hate sort of thing. So it's like a hate to love sort of like romance. If you love those, you will love this. So fairyland, royalty and betrayal and secrets and romance, hate to love in particular. We've got the fact that there's some sort of twin moment in this book, which yeah, twin moment totally redeemed in this book. I had a bit of hate at the end of the second book. I was just like, this character, redeemed in this book. There was a shocker pretty much in the beginning of the book, actually. I was very, very shocked at what happened at the beginning of the book. So I think that there are some really, really cute moments in this book. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the characters. I love Prince Garden, actually. Like, he's such a jerk, but I love him so much. Like, he is, every time he is in a chapter, I'm happy. Put it that way. Like, I just love reading chapters with him in. They're really juicy. I love the words and the conversations that he has. Like, yeah, I just love Carden so much. Like, oh, he is beautiful, and oh my goodness, I just love it so much. And I really like Jude. She's quite a spunky character in herself, and I see a lot of myself in Jude as well. And yeah, I totally support her. I really enjoy her so much. And I actually really like the character Heather in this book series as well. Like, Heather is in the other book series. She's a mortal as well that finds out about the fairy world, and she's quite a spunky character. I really like her too. So yeah, so third and final book that is in this trilogy. I am so, my god, guys, the cover, I must admit, Holly Black and the publisher did a fantastic job of the cover of this book. It's so beautiful, and all three books match. It makes my heart happy, and yeah, guys, I really enjoyed it. Beginning, the middle, the juice that's in this, the ending, very bittersweet, so good. Everything is just solved. I wish there were more books in this series because I love this world so much, and I hope that Holly Black does maybe a spin-off with another character. I don't know. I hope she listens to me and listens to us and brings us more of the folk of the air. But in a spin-off, I would love to return back to this world and find out what happens. Maybe with a child, like they do sometimes when it's like, and these two have a kid, and this is the kid's story, like that sort of thing. Like, I don't know. One would hope. Anyway, guys, this is going to be the end of the non-spoiler section. Obviously, I gave this book 5 out of 5 Kit Kats, but to be honest, it deserves an ultimate Katie star. It is one of my favourite books of 2019. Thank you very much, Holly Black. You have deserved it with this book. So now I'm going to move on to the spoiler section, where I'm going to talk about things that happened in the book, how I felt about the things that happened in the book, and that sort of jazz. So if you guys haven't read this book yet, I implore you to go and give this book series a read. Cruel Prince, The Wicked King. Give my reviews a read, and I'll put them down below in the description for you to check out. Give them a read, honestly. If you love fairies, if you love romance, if you love betrayal, family, secrets, if you love twists and turns in books, you will really enjoy this book. I really enjoyed it. I really hope that you guys do too. And let me know what you thought about the books, the first 2 books, if you have read them. But goodbye to you for the non-spoiler section, and hello to people for the spoilers, as the spoilers now begin. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the fact that Locke gets killed by Taryn. Like, what the hell? So Taryn comes along into the mortal world, and she's like, yeah, I killed Locke. kind of a shocker, but meh. And I was just like, wow, Taryn, you've really turned things around. However, she then reveals that she is pregnant with Locke's child. Obviously she's going to keep it. She's really sort of like proud of that, and yeah, how she wants to sort of be a mother, which I think is really cute. So yeah, that was a surprise, because by the end of The Wicked King, I was like, I literally hate you and Locke for betraying your sister Jude. And she just turned around. She had a massive turnaround in this book, which I thought and felt that she had redeemed herself. So that's really good about that. Then we have Jude, who disguises herself as Taryn and then returns to the land of the fairy, and Cardan is then interrogating Taryn because of Locke's death. So Taryn obviously tried to make it look like it was an accident. There are some people who believe it was a murder, but because he got like washed away on the shore and he's kind of got like a bit chewed by an animal, they're sort of thinking, yes, who knows if it's an accident or if it was an actual murder. So it becomes a mystery. So then Cardan then has to interrogate. Now the reason that Taryn sort of places with Jude is because Jude will then be telling the truth, because Jude actually wasn't Taryn. So if they do put a truth spell on her, and also because Jude actually has a sort of ward where if any sort of truth thing is put on her, like a glamour or anything, it's pretty much like rejects it and reflects it, and it doesn't actually work. So that's another reason why Jude did it. So Jude actually did it to kind of protect her sister too. Taryn was coming like begging and being like, please can you do this for me? Also gives Jude a chance to get back into the land of the fairy. So Jude is obviously intrigued because she has no idea what's happened with Prince Cardan. So then she returns, and Cardan straight away is just like, and then afterwards he's like, you're Jude, you're not Taryn, which I thought was like, you know what, actually it's kind of cute, because he's actually spotted that she is Jude and not Taryn, even though they're sort of like identical twins. I think it's really cool how he can tell the difference, like that's my Jude sort of thing. I think that was really cute. So he knows it's her, but then Jude is then taken by Maddox because Maddox thinks that she is Taryn, and so he just like gets into the castle, takes Taryn away. So then Jude is now taken by Maddox and living with Maddox, and she's like, how the hell am I gonna get out of here? Like, oh my goodness. And then she finds that Ghost is a hostage by Maddox as well. So then she's just like, how am I going to help Ghost by escaping? I must find a way. So Orana discovers that it's Jude as well. And then Cardan and Roach come along and try to rescue Jude, which is really cool as well. So they then all try to escape. So Jude goes one direction and tries to rescue Ghost, but then Maddox is waiting for her at the cave and then attacks her and ends up stabbing her. So Jude is then injured. So her sisters Taryn come along and they sort of try and help her. Jude then uses the earth and Taryn's stitches to try to heal. So Jude then returns to Cardan, and she sort of like rests and heals whilst at the castle. And Cardan's mum, this is one which I thought was really interesting, which wasn't really touched on like greatly, but Jude found out that Cardan's mother had hid the letters that Cardan was sending to her in the mortal world. So she never received any of the letters that Cardan has sent to her, because Cardan at first, when he first saw Jude, was like, did you not receive my letters? And she's just like, what? So then she finds out from his mum that she hid the letters and pretty much burned them, and she never received them, which I think is really sad. And it is, yeah, so I'm not happy with Cardan's mum for that. Like, that was just horrible. So then we have a character called Fand, who then becomes her actual guard, And then we have Grima Mog, who she actually has like a brawl with at the beginning of the book. She then makes her Grand General. So it's really cool how Grima Mog has come from like a little fighting brawl that they were fighting in the mortal world, and then Grima Mog is in the fairy world becoming her Grand General, which I think is really cool. Like, I really like that moment. It was a moment where it was like, that's really sweet. So then Maddox and Carden have this sort of fight thing going on, and then we have a moment where Carden and Jude sleep together, and I bet you I'm not the only one that was literally like, oh my goodness, they are having sex, they are finally they are having this physical attraction where they both admit like how much they miss each other, and like how much they mean to each other, and it was proper emotional. It was really raw. I loved that scene. Probably my favourite scene in the book. I really enjoyed it. So then we have the scene where Maddox attacks, and then Carden breaks the crown in half and becomes a serpent. So then pretty much like Maddox and Lord Jarrell, they try to make a truce in order to sort of sort this serpent, because Carden's become this gigantic serpent that's destroying people, destroying things, and so many people have tried to stop, and Jude can get close to it and doesn't seem to attack her. But like, how's she gonna get Carden back? Like, how's things gonna get back to normal? So Maddox and Lord Jarrell try to make a truce by saying if Jude binds herself to the serpent by using some hair strands, that she will be able to control the serpent, and the serpent will live by its side, and they can like create this truce. However, Jude sort of figures it out and figures things out and is like, well, hang on a minute, that's not going to happen, sort of thing. Like, how could I bind myself to this serpent when actually that's not how it's going to happen. She finds that they actually lied to her. So she then goes up to Carden, who is the serpent, and she's like, well, they pretty much said that this is the way that he is going to die, is if he's got to be slain and blood spills and that sort of thing. So she goes and she slays the serpent. And then who comes out but a new fresh Carden who comes out. So of course they all celebrate. Prince Carden is back. He is the king. Jude is the queen. We have a king and queen. They are ruling. Maddox is then sort of like meh. And we then have Carden, who is like, you dish out all of the punishments, Jude, as you are the queen. And he's sitting there and he's just sort of like, you can see that he's like proper smirking. Like, this is how I pictured it anyway. I could picture that he was kind of smirking at this, like, you dish out these punishments. So Jude is like, yeah, this is what's going to happen to you and to you, Lord Jarrell. And then Maddox, this is your punishment, and that sort of thing. So it's really cool. So then afterwards, obviously, we've got a celebration. Jude then confesses her love to Carden, because Carden confesses his love to Jude before he turns into a serpent, which is really sweet. He finally says he loves her. And then Jude is like, oh my god, I never got to say that I loved him. And she tells him when he's a serpent, she's like, I do love you, I really love you. And then she tells him afterwards as well, she was like, I don't know if you heard me, but I love you. Like, I can't do anything without you, I love you, pretty much. But in different sort of words, but pretty much the same sort of thing. And then we end with the mortal world. Carden wanting to learn about things in the mortal world, and then returning and everything and having a celebration, and it's so sweet and it's so cute, and I really love the ending. It is proper like bittersweet, and it was the perfect way to end the book, and I really enjoyed it. I just love it like fairyland, pizza and stories and new beginnings and scheming great schemes, to family and fairyland and pizza and stories and new beginnings and scheming great schemes. I can toast to that. It's ridiculously cute and beautiful. So in the Waterstones edition, if you guys don't know, you receive the letters that Carden has sent to Jude, so you get to actually see these letters, even though these letters actually got burnt. And I thought they were really cute, and I'm going to briefly read them out to you. So it even says here, the following letters were delivered by the High King's messenger into the hands of Lady Asha, who burned each one, a few in the flame of candles and others in her hearth. So we've got here saying, Jude, you are perhaps only being overcautious, but I am writing to inform you that all is settled between the Undersea and Elfame. The treaties are signed in sea foam and blood. Since I cannot imagine there is much in the human lands to interest you, I can only suppose that your continued absence in Elfame is due to me. I urge you, come be angry at a nearer distance. That is so cute. Like, oh my goodness, these letters are just, they're so perfect. Jude, you're in no mood for games. Very well, I am in no mood for them either. Let me write it outright. You are pardoned. I revoke your banishment. I rescind my words. Please come home. Come home and shout at me. Come home and fight with me. Come home and break my heart if you must. Just please come home. Jude, not even responding to my missives is ridiculous and beneath you, and I hate it. Carden. To the High Queen, above me is the same silvery moon that shines down on you. Looking at it makes me recall the glint of your blade pressed against my throat in other romantic moments. I do not know what keeps you from returning to the High Court, whether it is vexation with me or whether, having spent time in the mortal world, you have come to believe that a life free of the fog is better than one ruling over them. In my most wretched hours, I believe you will never come back. Why would you, save for your ambition? You've always known exactly what I am and seen all my failings, all of my weaknesses and scars. I flattered myself that at moments you had feelings for me other than contempt, but even were that true, they would make but a thin gruel beside the feast of your other greater desires. And yet my heart is buried with you in the strange soil of the mortal world, as it was drowned with you in the cold waters of the undersea. It was yours before I could admit it, and yours it shall ever remain. And then the last letter is just Jude, 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 written all over and over again with please Jude. But that previous letter before, just where he says, it was yours before I could admit it, and yours it shall ever remain. Jude and Carden are just made for each other. Just, they were so beautiful. Oh my goodness, like so good. I loved it so much, and it's such a perfect ending, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the first two books, you will enjoy the third book, put it that way. Like, I know that the series isn't for everybody, and I totally understand that, but I just loved it so much. I love it so much. It's one of my favourite books of the year. It's going to be one of my top books of the year for definite. And yeah, thank you to Holly Black for writing this book. Keep writing books. Keep writing books. So good. So good. So yeah, and also that thing in the story where that is revealed that Jude could have come back to Fairyland whenever she had wanted. Like, who else was like, seriously? Seriously? She could have just returned? That was a twist I did not see coming. Well done, Holly Black. That was a twist I did not see coming. So there you have it, guys. That is the end of my review on The Queen of Nothing by the Queen of Fairy, Holly Black. First half non-spoiler, second half spoiler. My reviews in the description. If you have enjoyed this book talk, please do give it a thumbs up. If there's anything else you'd like to know about my thoughts, what I thought about something, if there's anything that I've missed, let me know down below and I'll let you know. But please don't spoil people in the comments. Send me a message, direct message on Twitter, or, you know, send me an email or anything. But please don't spoil in the comments for the people that haven't read this book. But that's it from me, guys. All of my social media links, as always, will be linked down below in the description if you'd like to follow me elsewhere. I hope you guys are going to have an absolutely fantastic day wherever you are. Keep smiling, keep reading, and be happy. My name is Katie, and I will see all of you wonderful, awesome people in my next video. Bye!